So I think you guys are aware of my opinion on Jacob Frey and Tim Walz. You know, I think that they're woke idiots. And I really do believe that they're woke morons. And, dude, they're really, really bad. Jacob Frey is clearly a theater kid. And Tim Walz clearly has zero clue what he's doing. I think we're just we have Tim Walz fatigue. We have fatigue all over the place. I mean, we're just kind of done with Minnesota. I think everybody's just kind of, whenever they hear Minnesota, they're like, oh no, not this again. I think everybody's just checked out. Now, there's something I want to react to. And we're going to react
Local
to this.
tax experts are here.
We're going to react to a town hall meeting with Jacob Frey, right? Jacob Frey. And this is going to be interesting. Before we watch it completely, we're going to we're going to put something up on the screen real quick. Thank you. Give me just a few moments, everybody. Just a few moments, everybody. We're gonna get this going. And we're gonna make my juices flowing. Okay. Good morning, Mr. TJ. What up, bro? Man, I can't wait for the Turning Point USA event, man. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm probably going to get there pretty early. I got some errands I got to run beforehand. I'm going to try to counter-protest beforehand. I'm going to see if I can pull that off. Let's see here. But good morning, man. Good morning.
Richfield, Minnesota. Alex Preddy took care of his dad, Terrence Lee Randolph, when he was dying at the VA. He was his hospice nurse, essentially, and Alex honored his dad in this video. I just want to play that for our viewers.
So I want to see if these Minnesotans are actually going to grill this piece of garbage. Because he has fanned the flames so much. He has fanned the flames. Jacob Frey has fanned the flames, calling ICE the Gestapo. Basically, is there a federal agency, man? Oh, hell yeah, dude. Stocks Family Farm, Mr. TJ, at excellent dinner last night. He met Nolan Crombie and Lincoln Ciarzes, the speakers for tonight's event. Oh, hell yeah, dude. I actually tuned in a little bit because I saw that you were live streaming last night at that dinner, dude. That's freaking cool. I'm gonna have to react to that at some point on the show. That was freaking amazing. No, I can't wait for tonight, man. I'm actually probably gonna live stream right before the event. I'm gonna actually be like on the ground next to the protesters. Obviously, the protesters are going to be, I don't know what to expect from, well, I wouldn't even, hopefully they don't become rioters. Hopefully these protesters at the event don't become crazy rioters. What I'm afraid is going to happen is that some of these people are going to go Minnesota crazy and they're going to like start vandalizing everything. That's the only fear that I have. So I'm crossing my fingers that they don't vandalize shit. So
today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it. Nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom.
Mac, welcome. What's your question?
Is there any transparency from feds on a timeline when their operation would be satisfied and they would conclude? Or is this just the new reality?
I feel like, no, they're going to be done. It's not forever. You guys, in fact, they're going to be there longer. The more Minnesotans go cray-cray, it's wild. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Flag waving event before. It starts at 4:30. I have a room. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Get it, brother. Get it. Hell yeah. Dude, what a beast. What a stud, dude. Well, I can't wait, dude, because I plan on So where's the flag waving event going to happen? Is that going to happen on the boardwalk, or is it going to or is the flag waving going to happen like on the sidewalk or anything? Or I'm assuming it's going to be close to the event, the flag waving event at least. That's going to be cool, man. Hell yeah. Let me drink a little more of my. I need a little more of an energy drink, real quick. Hold on. Well, Mike is asking, why do Democrats feel like it's okay to ignore federal immigration laws? Because Democrats, most Democrats, I got to admit, they have this weird sense of entitlement that if they're offended by anything, that the moment they're offended by something, they have every right to destroy it. I've noticed this pattern of behavior, and it is ridiculous that pattern of behavior exists. It's very childish. Absolutely. I want to say thank you to everybody who's subscribing to the channel. We're currently at 7,463 subs. The more subscribers we get, the better. So don't forget to tap the subscribe button if you have woke fatigue. If you have Minnesota fatigue right now, like I do, because I have massive Minnesota fatigue, tap the subscribe button. We really need your subs. We need you as a subscriber. Oh, it'll be in front of the Egyptian Theater. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll try to make it to the flag waving event for sure. That is something I definitely want to make it to, without a doubt. Hell yeah.
Mac, first, thank you for being here. It's got to be a pretty emotional thing, having someone that took such good care and had such deep respect for your dad get shot and killed in Alex Preddy. The question is...
I can't stand Jacob Frey, dude. I just feel like everything he does, it just feels like it's fake. It just feels like fake empathy. I want to believe that this guy's real, but everything about this, it feels like theater kid level acting. It feels like theater kid level acting, man. Live stream tonight for a bit before the event, too. Talk to you later, Mr. TJ. Hey, guys, make sure you guys follow Stocks Family Farm on YouTube. He's a good friend of mine, really cool dude. He's going to be... We're both going to go to the Turning Point event. I don't know what time I'm going to be there specifically. I'm going to try to go to the flag waving thing. That's going to be pretty dope. But yeah, I'm pretty excited, man. But yeah, if you guys can, tap the subscribe button. It does help the channel grow in a lot of ways. If you guys have Minnesota fatigue like I do, because I have the fatigue real bad when it comes to Minnesota. So please subscribe to the channel if you're sick and tired of the crocodile tears from Jacob Frey. Let's keep going.
Do we have some form of transparency in this investigation? How do we know that it will be conducted fully and fairly?
I don't know. It's a federal investigation. And by the way, there's a lot of evidence coming out that your guy... Look, and by the way, Alex Preddy was murdered. I firmly believe that. I believe that Alex Preddy was murdered. But there's a lot of video coming out that he has agitated several times, maybe not several, maybe 2 or 3 times, but he has gotten into conflicts with the federal agents. And it's on video. He kicked out one of their taillights, for God's sakes. Alex Preddy was no saint. Did he deserve to get shot in the back? No. No, he did not. And I do believe he was murdered. I really do. But at the same time, we can't ignore the fact that this guy was kind of, he was a woke person. That Alex Preddy had a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome and a severe case of being woke.
No, actually, it's whether there's a timeline on
I
the
apologize.
operation from the feds. Is there any transparency on when maybe they would be satisfied and conclude this?
I want to hear somebody besides this ass licker. I know that this guy is clearly in love with Jacob Frey. It's very clear that this dude right here is in love with this dude right here. So can we please get somebody, and I'm assuming they got the biggest ass lickers to go to this town hall. But there's got to be people in this town hall who are fed up with Jacob Frey and are fed up with Tim Walz. Because honestly, if they didn't call ICE the Gestapo several times, I'm pretty sure federal agents would have been able to do their investigations with no problem. Instead, you have all these agitators like Renee Good and her wife. You have Alex Preddy, who has been confirmed as an agitator, who had been agitating well before the event before the day of his death. And by the way, rest in peace, Alex, man. Seriously. He was executed. He was executed unjustly because he was disarmed. They ended up disarming him, and I still think that shooting a man like that was too crazy. It didn't feel right to me. So I'm not on board with that. I want to make it very clear that Alex Preddy was murdered, but also Alex Preddy was not a saint. Two of those things can be true. But he did not deserve to get murdered. No, he did not.
Overall operation, or are they just saying this will just be ongoing for indefinitely?
Look, we don't have a timeline as to when and how it will be drawn down. And I
Crazy,
know
though.
that's as frustrating and as concerning to me as it is so many other people in our country because, look,
Oh, well.
Mac, you know this as well as I do. This is not about safety. If this were about
Yeah, it kind of is. Here's the thing. You guys have, by the way, you guys in Minnesota have an illegal immigration problem, straight up. And if you're not willing to admit that, Jacob Frey, I'm sorry, man. You got major issues if you can't admit that you guys have an illegal immigration problem. You guys are literally you guys are basically a sanctuary city. You guys are a sanctuary state, for God's sakes. So don't go telling me that you guys don't have an illegal immigration problem. Because you guys you guys are soft on crime, just like every Democrat. You guys don't make anything better. You make things, in my opinion, the left makes things worse than better.
safety.
And also, Jacob Frey had been fanning the flames, calling ICE the Gestapo. So was Tim Walz. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey are basically two peas in a pod. They're basically, in a lot of ways, the same type of person. You know, you guys can call me bootlickers all day long, but these guys are bootlickers to the Democrat establishment. If you guys want to call me a bootlicker, go for it. But if you're going to call me a bootlicker, you need to call Jacob Frey and Tim Walz bootlickers to the actual Democrat establishment. And like Asmund Gould said, you know, the left doesn't hate Nazis, they want to be the Nazis. The left doesn't hate the police, they want to be the police. That's what Asmund Gould said, and I agree with him. I firmly agree. The left is the Democrats are the party of projection. Straight up.
There would be so many important mechanisms where we could, in fact, partner. We have partnered extensively. We've partnered with the federal government, with the DEA, the FBI, the ATF, to successfully drive down crime. For instance, on the north side of Minneapolis, shootings are at a record low. Crime is down in virtually every category in every neighborhood.
Well, the reason that crime is down is because it's not reported. You guys have like no police. And in a lot of ways, it seems like these police officers are encouraged not to report anything. So, yeah, I highly doubt that crime is down in your town, in your state. I really do. In your city, even.
But that's not what this is about. And so do I have a timeline as to when it's going to end? No, that would be a better question for the federal government. But we're going to do everything possible.
No, but Minnesota. But by the way, Jacob Frey, your city is so soft on crime. I honestly believe, and this is a belief of mine, that I believe that their crime statistics are down is because their crime isn't being reported. I just believe that. Because Democrats are historically bad at enforcing laws. They have no problem breaking laws. They have no problem assaulting federal agents, right? I'm kind of I have Democrat fatigue right now, real bad. I've got Democrat fatigue, bro.
We can to advocate, to push, and to stand up for the neighbors who we love so dearly.
What do you have to say to those who are arguably the majority, who feel that harsh words and public statements are not enough to address this crisis?
The majority? You're the majority? Yeah. Yeah, maybe, Minneapolis is full of woke people, so it's all good.
I would say that they are exactly right.
Well, guess what? You can't just keep calling ICE the Gestapo. They're still a federal agency. That would be like if the FBI came into Minnesota and they started interfering with FBI agencies. You don't do that.
Words alone.
Whether you agree with ICE or not, it doesn't matter. ICE is still a federal agency. We wanted ICE. We voted for Trump specifically because we knew that he would enforce immigration policy. We knew that Biden and Harris wouldn't. So we were happy. We were happy to get Trump. We wanted Trump. I wanted Trump. I still want Trump. Look, I think Trump is getting a little too old. So when Trump's term is up, I do want to see J.D. Vance 2028. That's what I want to see. Because, Trump really is getting older, quite a bit older. And I think J.D. Vance would be a fabulous president. I would love to see J.D. Vance in 2028 and 2032. I think that'd be great.
Alone are not going to do anything. And that's why in the city of Minneapolis, we are taking clear action to change this. And the battlefield that we operate on is the battlefield of the law.
I just don't trust Jacob Frey, man.
Are right, legally. The actions that have taken place in our street are
I really just don't trust this guy. I think that Jacob Frey is a fake and a phony.
Unconstitutional. You can't randomly yank off the street a person because they happen to look Somali or they happen to look Latino. You can't detain United States citizens, rip them away from their family, and they don't even know where they went. And so we have the law on our side. We are preemptively and responsively suing.
I think Jacob Frey is full of it. He is a theater kid, dude. Jacob Frey is a theater kid who got into politics. I think this guy is full of it. And by the way, I'm 100% on board with ICE. I really am. And if you guys are 100% on board with ICE too, please do not forget to tap the subscribe button. Please subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel grow. But we are so sick of theater kids like Jacob Frey making everything worse. We're done with it, man. We're done with it.
Hope to get a ruling on that lawsuit in the next several days because, to Mac's point, Sophia, to your point, we can't just allow this to continue. But that's not the only work that's happening. People in this city, and God bless them, are standing up. Tens of thousands of people, they're the heroes in this story, peacefully protesting, standing up for their neighbor, delivering food for people that are afraid to go outside, taking a watch at a daycare to make sure that their friends, their neighbors, our family.
So ridiculous, dude. It's hyperbole. First off, Jacob Frey, none of this would have happened, by the way. None of this would have happened if you and Tim Walz just stopped calling ICE the Gestapo. They're enforcing immigration law, okay? ICE is enforcing immigration law, you moron.
We are a collective family.
Come on, man.
They're safe. And if there's inspiration to take it from them. Take it from the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Minneapolitans and Minnesota.
Every time I hear Jacob Frey speak, dude, I just want to throw. I want to throw up in my mouth, dude. This guy is such. This guy has the fakest empathy of all time. It's just so fake. It just everything about this man exudes incompetence and fake it till you make it culture, and everything I can't stand. He's everything I can't stand about Democrats. Jacob Frey is everything I can't stand about the Democrat Party. And so is Tim Walz. Tim Walz is even worse. Tim Walz is a form of incompetence that I can't even wrap my head around. Tim Walz sucks.
Minnesotans that are standing up saying, you know what, we are better united, we are better together. And that, if nothing else, has been ridiculously powerful. I've never been prouder to be from Minneapolis.
Minneapolis has taken a lot of criticism from the Trump administration for being a sanctuary city.
It is. She's absolutely right. It is a sanctuary city because you guys allow illegal immigration up the butt. Allegedly. I'm just going to say allegedly.
Mayor Frey, can you explain what it means to be a sanctuary city, why Minneapolis is a sanctuary city, and why you believe being a sanctuary city makes Minneapolis a safer place?
It makes it a less safer place. Are you kidding me? I am so... what do you guys think that this moron's answer is going to be? Because I'm really curious to see what Jacob Frey says. I mean, this guy sucks. Like I said, Jacob Frey it's guys like Jacob Frey and Tim Walz that always make me want to vote for Trump, you know? It makes me want to vote Republican or third party. The Democrats have made me hate them so much that I will never vote Democrat. Democrats lost my vote forever. You guys will never get a vote out of me. Ever. Anytime I see somebody running and they have Democrat next to their name in the political party, I know that they're a joke and I know they're a piece of garbage.
There's a lot of terminology about what is or what isn't a sanctuary city. But in Minneapolis, we have something called a separation ordinance. And what that ordinance states is that we do not work on immigration enforcement. We do not cooperate with federal agencies around immigration enforcement. We do work
Okay, so what about the signal chats? You guys actively... okay, so you may not work with the federal agencies, that's fine. If you guys don't, that's fine. But don't actively try to tell people to stop the federal agents. I understand if you don't want to work with the... like, I totally get it if you don't want to work with the federal agencies. Fine. Go for it. Be a sanctuary city. But just to let you know, you being a sanctuary city does not mean that ICE can't go into your city and start doing what they need to do to enforce immigration law, okay? And to top it off, yeah, so supposedly a lot of the people in Minnesota government are in these signal chats basically tracking ICE and giving these rioters all the intel that they need to track ICE's operations so that way they could actively go out and impede on ICE investigations. It's so messed up. Like, it really is messed up in so many ways. So yeah, Jacob Frey is such a total piece of garbage. This guy's really a piece of work, is all I got to say. Real piece of work. Crazy.
To protect people and keep them safe. As I mentioned, we've had a number of incidents, many different...
Hey, I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel. If you guys think that this guy's lying, if you guys think that Jacob Frey is lying through his teeth, please tap the subscribe button. If you are so tired of Jacob Frey and Tim Walz, if you're tired of the Democrat Party, please tap the subscribe button. We're trying to get more subscribers. We're done. We're just done. We're trying to expose the left and its lunacy to the rest of the freaking world because the white liberal Karens have taken over the Democrat Party, have made things worse, and this is why I don't trust Democrats in power, is because all the pearl-clutching Karens have taken over the frickin' party. Let's go.
Different administrations where we've worked with the federal administration to help. But it's not on federal immigration law. Why? Again, because I want our police spending time protecting the residents of our city, stopping homicides and carjackings, making sure that violent offenders are investigated and held accountable. What the separation ordinance also says is that we won't ask the question as to whether an individual is documented or not. And here's why. We want people that are undocumented to have the confidence to call 911 without the fear.
Yeah, suicide, by the way, yes. James Dillon says suicidal empathy is a wild thing these days. Yes, it literally is suicidal empathy. I think suicidal empathy will be the death of America, if anything, because first off, suicidal empathy is rooted in white guilt. So I think white guilt is going to be the thing that ends America. All these white people feeling guilty about being white, and the term white privilege just needs to die. Because I am white and I'm also part Mexican. I'm part Mexican, part Caucasian, you know. And I've never felt privilege in my life for being white. If anything, I feel discouraged for being white. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm personally attacked all the time for being white. So I don't suffer from white guilt. Maybe it's because I'm part Mexican. I don't know. Maybe that side of me just doesn't feel guilty about who I am, and maybe just pure Caucasian people feel overly guilty about who they are. It's the weirdest thing. I've never seen it before. Like I just don't understand it. I don't understand white guilt. It's weird. Yeah, my last name's Garza, like Michael Garza. I am a Mexican. I mean, don't get me wrong, my grandfather was a Mexican, but I am, like, that's my descendants. My grandpa was full out Hispanic. I'm only like 25% Hispanic. And, but yeah, my grandfather ended up coming here legally. He ended up coming here legally, doing his thing, doing the right stuff. So, yeah.
Here that they'll get deported in doing so. That is a safety strategy. That's not an immigration strategy. That is a safety strategy. And by the way, this is a strategy that has been implemented and supported not just by Minneapolis and my administration. This goes back even to Rudy Giuliani, the radical leftist, who said himself that we want people to call 911 and not to have a fear in doing so.
Mayor Frey, what material commitments are you making to community members, our community members, who have been harmed, detained, or have had their loved ones brutalized? As the mayor of the city, what concrete actions will you and the city of Minneapolis take, such as providing financial support, coordinating resources, or pursuing legal action?
All of the above, providing financial support, coordinating legal resources, and of course pursuing action. These are actions that are underway.
By the way, I'm sorry, but there is one community that's committed majority of the fraud, and I think you know which community I'm talking about in Minnesota. I'm not even going to say it. We all know what community committed majority of the fraud in Minnesota. We all know, dude. We all know. Period. End of story.
And we need to
frog. Oh, dude, further. Frog eat frog, dude. Says calling ice right now. Oh man, hey, you know what? Like, by the way, just want to let you know I'm legal. I am a legal Mexican. By the way, I'm legal, and I'm a Trump voter. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, because here's the thing: the reason I voted for Trump 2016, 2020, 2024. Is because I was tired of illegal immigrants. Not legal. I love it if you are a legal immigrant, I love it. If you're an illegal immigrant, I don't love it. It's very simple. Very simple.
So first, we are proactively and responsively suing based on the unconstitutional conduct that is happening in our streets. Second, we are working with a number of victims of these unconstitutional actions to try to hook them up with organizations where they can themselves have standing to sue. Third, we have a task force that is set up so that we've got communication channels that are in line so that we get through this most difficult of situations. And finally, look, our entire city...
God, I am so sick of Jacob Frey and his crocodile tears, dude. I can't do it. Like, I'm trying my best to get through this. But the more I listen to this the more I listen to this dude, the more, like I said, the more I just want to throw up in my mouth. I can't stand how fake he sounds. He has fake empathy. Like, it just feels fake. I don't, like, every time I listen to this dude, I'm just like, dude, you are not sorry for ruining your city. Like, he needs to apologize. I think Jacob Frey needs to publicly apologize for ruining Minneapolis by calling ICE the Gestapo, and then telling his citizens basically that essentially that he basically inferred the moment you call ICE the Gestapo, a legitimate federal agency, by the way, you are basically telling your citizens to treat them like Nazis. And you know, and he knows, Jacob Frey is well aware of the wokeisms, the woke people in Minnesota will do anything they can to make these ICE agents' lives hell. He knows it.
Enterprise has been operating over the last several weeks, if not months to do everything.
By the way, thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. If you guys can, tap the subscribe button, though, if you haven't already. We're really trying to expand the show as much as possible. We're doing whatever we can to get more people subscribed, and anything you guys could do to help the channel out, just the simple act of subscribing, really does wonders for the body and the soul. No, but I appreciate you guys. And if you guys are tired of Jacob Frey, if you guys are sick and tired of this guy, this frickin' chud, please tap the subscribe button if you guys are just done with it. Done with Minnesota.
Possible that we can to keep our residents safe and to have an emergency response to what's presently taking place. And that includes things like having our community service officers deliver food. These are soon-to-be police officers deliver food for people that would otherwise be afraid to go out of their homes. This is everything that's happening through offices of immigrant and refugee affairs to make sure that they have legal supports in place if and when they need them. And here's the other truth. Is it enough? And this is real. No, and I'm sorry. I never in a million years would I have imagined that this kind of thing would happen in America.
Oh, God. Every time I look at Jacob Frey and his fake-ass empathy, dude, I can't stand it, dude. This guy is just insufferable. Insufferable. Like, he really... Frog Eat Frog says, lol, very mature and cool. DJ Santy, what up, bro? My brony bro, dude. DJ Santy. Ned Flanders doesn't like the chat. Oh, my God.
That the Department of Justice would be weaponized against local people and elected officials, that we'd have this broad invasion of thousands of agents, not to keep people safe, but causing chaos in our street. And so I'm sorry to you, to your community, and to your soon-to-be profession as a lawyer.
Laugh out loud.
Yeah, no, oh my God, dude. He is, Jacob Frey suffers from levels of white guilt that I can never imagine myself having. And thank you, by the way, to Martin Poigari.
Laugh out loud.
Thank you, Martin Poigari, for subscribing to the channel. I appreciate that, my brony brother. Appreciate all you guys. And I'm not really a brony, by the way, but I do enjoy calling everybody a brony. It's funny.
If I could just add one more thing. We need more people just like you. Because you're the one that's going to stand up for these constitutional...
Come on, Jacob Frey. You are real. He is like, his white guilt is showing. Like, his white guilt aura is fucking maxed. I'm using the Gen Z language. He is maxing out his white guilt aura. We haven't even seen his final form. We haven't seen Jacob Frey's final form. His white guilt levels are over 9,000. It's over 9,000.
Rights going forward. You're the one that is going to ensure the endurance of our republic, which quite literally depends on people speaking out in favor of our country, in favor of America.
Hey guys, so we're really close to getting to 7,500 subscribers. So we're currently at 7,467 subscribers. I repeat, we are currently sitting at 7,467 subscribers. You know what that means? That means we're almost to 7,500, and we're getting even closer to the 10,000 subscriber benchmark. And the closer we get, every day we get closer to this, the better. The better. So if you guys can, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 7,500 before the end of the stream. So the simple act of subscribing to the channel helps. We're trying to expose the woke agenda, and the more subscribers we get, the more people we could show how crazy woke people are. So that way people understand that the Democrat Party has lost its collectivist mind. I hope that makes sense.
When your officers are prevented from inspecting crime scenes that exist in your jurisdiction...
This guy kind of has, he kind of has Chad vibes. He's got some biceps, you could tell. He's got some Chad vibes. He's a bit of a Chad. Okay. All right, let's see.
By ICE agents. How does that change your mentality going forward when dealing with ICE? And can Minnesota residents expect police to be more direct if placed in similar scenarios now knowing ICE may try to prevent them from doing their jobs?
So I do feel like we are in a better place today than we were in the beginning of the week.
I think the situation had increasingly been spiraling in a place we have never been.
Well, it's because you guys in the Minnesota Police Department were doing nothing to help ICE out. ICE is a federal agency, and I think that you guys should have actually tried to help ICE out. But instead, you guys are basically acting like ICE is the Gestapo as well, and it just makes things worse. All the people who were agitating these ICE officers, they can go to hell. And this is why I'm on board with ICE. I guess you could say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of ICE in the world, but the fact of the matter is, because the left is not fans. Because the left hates ICE, I love ICE. That's all I got to say.
We work literally every single day with members of federal law enforcement and all of these different agencies. A lot of our officers, and myself included, have personal relationships with a lot of these different federal agencies. And so
I don't know why everybody keeps calling me a bootlicker. Why? Okay, so can you guys explain to me why I'm a bootlicker? I'm not a bootlicker. I like ICE. I think ICE is a federal agency, and it's still a federal agency. Whether you guys like ICE or not, you can't impede upon an ICE investigation. So that doesn't make me a bootlicker. It makes me a very functional person to understand that a federal agency is still a federal agency, whether you agree with it or not. I'm not a big fan of the FBI, but I understand why they exist. I understand that I can't interfere with their investigations. I mean, if FBI was in your town, would you interfere with their investigations? ICE is just as much a federal agency as the FBI. So if you start interfering with FBI investigations, you get punished. If you interfere with ICE investigations, you get punished. It's fucking simple. It's elementary, my dear leftist.
So at least when these shootings that have happened in the city have occurred, each time I have requested the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to respond. That is the agency that we have in this state that independently conducts use of force investigations that involve police. The problem that we've had, particularly the last time, is that while we were present on the scene and trying to preserve the scene, the BCA was not allowed into the scene. Not once, but twice.
I want to thank everybody for being a part of this. We're going to... I'm tired of watching Jacob Frey in this. The real bootlicker is the police officer licking Jacob Frey's boots. Oh, Tim Walz talks ICE operations and full interview with Tim Walz. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see
rules, commands, MCP servers.
Speaking of bootlickers, Tim Walz is the ultimate bootlicker, dude. Tim Walz is a super bootlicker.
Start with the kind of the state of the state at the moment. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think angry, heartbroken, sad, but mixed into that, and this is Weird's emotion, is the sense of pride and resolve that Minnesotans are feeling, and you can feel it reaching way beyond our borders. And I'm hearing from folks globally across Europe that
Hell
I know.
Yeah.
And look, this is an unprecedented attack by the federal government on the very core of who we are. You're seeing it in the streets, the murder of Alex and Renee, the inhumane treatment and the fear. And it's on so many levels. All of our agencies are experiencing attacks on them. We're seeing them threaten to withhold dollars, to make it difficult for us, to try and change how we do business as far as being a welcoming state, one that leans into science research, one that is proud of our vaccination rates, proud of our clean energy. So it feels like we're hunkered down to this, but I just want to give all the thanks to Minnesotans. The White House decided to call and change posture, if you will, and we'll see what happens with that. But just be very clear, the only reason that they did that and the only reason that Greg Bovino's gone is because people took to the streets in 40 below weather. People took to the streets to care for their neighbors. People took to the streets to show what decency looks like, and that contrast embarrassed them, I think. And so
that's not true, Tim. I think they realized that Bovino wasn't doing a good job. He just wasn't doing a good job in Minneapolis. So they had to send Tom Homan. And honestly, Tim, I think you should be embarrassed yourself because you kept calling ICE the Gestapo. You kept fanning the flames. You kept telling your constituents that ICE was the enemy, basically. And when you start saying that a federal agency is the enemy of the state, that kind of sounds like an insurrection to some degree. So in a lot of ways, allegedly, it seems like an insurrection, if we're not mistaken.
Me, I'm going through all of those emotions and then trying to deal with a White House that is so transactional that it's very difficult for me to process that I can talk to a whole bunch of people at the White House, talk to the President of the United States, talk to Tom Homan, talk to all these people who are doing this, and the one thing they never talked about was Alex. The one thing they never talked about was Renee. The one thing they never talked about was Liam.
Well, the reason that they're not talking about it is because, first off, the Alex Preddy situation, I feel like that was cold-blooded murder. I feel like he was murdered in cold blood. Absolutely. But yeah, other than that, whatever.
They never talked about a single person as far as the humanity of it. So, I'm pretty much in an emotional roller coaster like other Minnesotans, but more than ever, I think we know what our character.
I think he kind of looks relieved because now all the fraud that happened in his state, everybody's not focused on it anymore. Nobody's focused on the fraud that occurred because of Tim Walz. Allegedly. And yeah, so I mean, all the fraud in his state, he constantly says the buck stops with him, but he allowed so much fraud in his state that if you think about it, if the buck really stopped with him, he would at least admit that he was the root cause of the problem for turning a blind eye to the fraud for so long. And then he should resign, but hey, we're dealing with Tim Walz here. He's a piece of you-know-what. And we're kind of done with Tim. We're just done. I have Tim Walz fatigue, dude. I have so much Tim Walz fatigue. If you guys are fatigued by Tim Walz, please tap the subscribe button. Let's go. If you guys got the Tim Walz fatigue, let's go. Because I know I do, man. I am done. I'm so tired of Tim Walz, dude. I'm so tired of this swarmy bastard.
Character is.
I note that a lot of my neighbors have exactly the same thoughts that you have. And I know that some...
Yeah, I love how he's proud of his vaccination rates. Are you kidding me? What a stupid freaking thing to be proud of.
Many times you've been out there saying you want to kind of dial down the rhetoric.
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying, and at the same time, you also recognize that you are a lightning rod.
Yes.
And so I wonder if sometimes you don't think about just stopping, like going in a hole somewhere and not speaking.
Yeah, well, I have a...
Well, here's the thing. The reason that Tim Walz is a lightning rod is because he makes things worse. He's one of those guys that this is what sucks about incompetent people like Tim Walz, is incompetent people like Tim Walz tend to make things worse. And he's in a position that he shouldn't be in. Tim Walz, in my opinion, should not be the governor of Minnesota. I think he is the worst governor I've ever seen in my life. He's turned a blind eye to fraud. He's allowed his city to burn twice. Summer of Love riots and then the Winter of Hate riots that just recently happened. I call it the Winter of Hate. And yeah, it's just crazy rioters flooding through the streets, making things worse, harassing ICE agents. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Yeah, we just have huge Minnesota fatigue. We really do. We have Minnesota fatigue. But yeah, if you guys can, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help the channel grow. The more subscribers we get, the better. We're really trying to see how much we can expand our reach on the YouTubes, and we're just going to keep going.
Responsibility, that's right. And I have to be careful about being a lightning rod, but a lot of that lightning rod was them smearing me and smearing our state.
Smearing? No, there was no smear. It was called a reveal. It was, dude, Tim Walz, you can't be this delusional. You do realize that what was revealed was actual fraud. Fraud was revealed in your state. They didn't smear you guys. They revealed who you guys really are. They revealed what kind of incompetent boob you are and the fraud that you basically allowed.
A lot of that was them being lies. So look, we had a he said, she said.
Oh, it was not lies, dude. It was called Revealed. Nick Shirley did real investigative journalism. And you called him a crazy mega white right-wing guy, which is so unjustified at this point. You'd even do that.
Said with Kristi Noem. Yeah, Kristi Noem was inhumane, cruel, and lied, and I told the truth about where things were at. Now, if that's a lightning rod for a certain set of people who aren't angry about what happened to Alex, I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to be quiet, and you're going to have to deal with me. I already made the case on this as a lightning rod and said maybe it's best we let somebody else do this job next time. I'm proud of the work we've done. Let me focus on doing the work of cleaning some stuff up, getting some things.
Dude, Tim, you have not done a good job cleaning up anything. In fact, if anything, your presence has just made things worse. You are fanning the flames. You're still continuing to fan the flames. You going on these interviews is not helping your reputation. In fact, the more people see you, the more people hate you. That's what I'm trying to get at. People don't like you, Tim. People think you need to resign. By the way, should Tim Walz resign? You know, I'm going to put a poll up. Let's get a poll running. Should Tim Walz and Jacob Frey resign? Yeah, he's trying to hide as much fraud as he can. Absolutely. I agree with that completely. If you guys can, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we get, the better. We're trying to increase our presence on the YouTubes as much as possible. So feel free to vote in the poll. And we're just going to continue to react to stupid-ass Tim Walz.
It's done. But they're obviously not satisfied with that. So here's what I'm going to fight this thing to the very end. I'm going to try to show the same resolve and courage that I'm seeing of folks on the streets every day. And I'm going to protect Minnesotan because this is an assault on our very way of life.
When you hear from
the more
the responsibility.
What assault? By the way, you assaulted the Minnesota way of life. You allowed, first off, tons of fraud to happen. And then also, you guys ended up turning your entire state flag into a quasi-Somalian flag, which is insane to me, by the way. Literal insanity, like, in my mind. So crazy, dude. So freaking insane. I mean, this guy's out of his mind, dude. I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to see more of this, let's keep going.
Teofimo Lopez.
Thing that's going on out there in the streets is yours
and
Jacob Frey's for not cooperating with ICE.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what the deal
Well, they're morally bankrupt right now. Look, I've always enjoyed this, and I think most people know if they're being honest.
Did Tim Walz just call somebody morally bankrupt? Dude, that's rich. That is so rich. Tim Walz calling anybody morally bankrupt is really the kettle. What's that term? The kettle calling the pot black, right? It really is. We all know what you did, Tim. We all know what you did. The reason that people want you to resign is because you are a lightning. You make the situation more intense for no reason. By the way, Tim Walz is absolutely morally bankrupt. For him to call anybody morally bankrupt is insane. It's insane for a guy like Tim Walz to call anyone morally bankrupt. Because he is the king of moral bankruptcy. Holy crap. Holy crap, man. Seriously, I can't take this guy seriously.
About this, I'm a very bipartisan person, and certainly was during my time in Congress. But this is way beyond a political debate. This is a moral debate. And I'm sorry, I have no responsibility to compromise with inhumanity. I have no responsibility to compromise with violation of human rights.
What dude, I'm sorry, but none of this would have happened, by the way, if you wouldn't have fanned the flames. By the way, you have blood on your hands, Tim Walz, whether you like to admit it or not. Renee Good would still probably be alive, and so would Alex Preddy, if you guys didn't fan the flames and just said, hey, look, let ICE do their investigations. Let's just get this out of the way. They're a legitimate federal agency. The sooner we let them do their investigations, the better, and then they're going to get out of here. Instead, ICE is now there way longer than they should be because you guys kept interfering. You and your people in Minnesota kept interfering in those investigations. So you guys literally made things worse for yourselves. You guys in Minnesota are just really making life more difficult for yourselves, straight up. Whether you guys want to admit that or not, I'm not too sure. But this is insanity. Insanity.
And so, look, we saw it last night. We had a little special election here. Kamala and I won that district in that special election by about 70 points that we had. So we had pretty good. It was 95-5 last night. So if Republicans don't care, and I don't hear them talk about Alex, I hear a couple of them. I'll give credit to the folks who are saying that, just a couple. But nobody running for governor can say Alex.
We're talking about Alex Preddy. We actually found out he was part of the Signal chats. And by the way, like I said, Alex Preddy was murdered. I'm not going to deny that. Just want to let you all know I'm not denying that Alex was murdered. For those of you who are saying that I'm even implying that, you guys are crazy. Alex was totally murdered. Give me one moment, though. I'm checking some of my stocks real quick. Oh, not bad at all. Hell yeah. Kicking butt. I got gold, and I'm super bad.
His name, and remember, they first came out and they blamed me, they blamed the ICE agents, they blamed all that.
Well, I mean, I'm blaming you, Tim Walz. I think if anybody with half a brain should realize that Tim Walz is very much a big problem. I think Tim Walz has been a very huge problem, if anything. Give me 1 second here. ASNS? Interesting. Let me see what that one's all about. So I've been having Robinhood get me some penny stocks. It's actually been working, surprisingly, which is shocking. It's finding me some very interesting companies, I'll tell you that. And let me see. Well, let's get 12. Why not? Get 12 shares. That looks like a pretty good one. So so what I'm doing is I'm basically having ChatGPT find me like very elite penny stocks that are like most likely going to blossom. Let's see. And so I keep asking it to give me another 10x penny stock, basically. It's kind of fun. I have a good time with it. Give me one moment. But yeah, I got massive Minnesota fatigue right now. Like, I got massive Minnesota fatigue, man, without a doubt, bro. Like the more I see of Tim Walz and Jacob Frey, man, I'm just like, ugh.
Now, when even Stephen Miller's backing off, they're all going to back off. Show some damn character. show some moral fortitude.
Okay, come on, Tim Walz, please. Stop lecturing people on character and moral fortitude. You have neither of those things. You wasted taxpayer money. You turned a blind eye to fraud. Stop talking about moral fortitude. You basically told your constituents that ICE was the Gestapo. And you know what that does? Because you know all your crazy woke followers are going to do exactly what they need to do. Tim Walz, you are a big part of the problem here. And if you can't admit that, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Tim Walz is the king of denial. He's the king of denial. Like, what else can we say here?
And show that. If this was my party doing this, I damn sure guarantee you that I wouldn't be standing with them. So I'll take this. They're going to be...
Your party, by the way, you know what your political party has done? A lot of bad things. They turn a blind eye to fraud. They allow illegal immigration like no other. You should not be standing with your party if you have any moral fortitude. If anything, you should reject the left the same way that I've rejected the left. When I was younger, sure. When I was younger, I did vote Democrat. Like when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, right? When I was younger. As I got older, I started to wise up and realize that, damn, dude, the Democrats are freaking morally bankrupt. They believe that communism and socialism are actually good ideas, and they're not. They're really shitty ideas. Everything about the Democrats is sickening. And the reason I will never vote Democrat ever, ever, ever is because you're the party, in my opinion, I believe that the Democrats are the party of racism. I really believe that. I don't believe that they have any real morals. I think they like to pretend like they have morals so they seem like good people. They're the type of people who like to seem like they're good people when in all reality they're really just pieces of garbage deep down. And yeah, so you guys are the left, I believe, is morally bankrupt, if we're going to be honest.
Tertiary issues on this, and tertiary issues are they're going to be destroyed electorally, but how can they set back why our state's being destroyed? And look, I'm going to say this, I'm pretty bitter about this. This all started...
Dude, by the way, you destroyed your state. You kept fanning the flames, dude. Are you kidding me? You kept calling ICE the Gestapo. I mean, like, how do you think that's going to help? The delusion of Tim Walz is insane. And I'm going to take a look at the comments section on this, because I have a feeling a lot of people are going to see my side more than his side. But yeah, the more I listen to Tim Walz, the more disgusted I am. I think he's a bad person. I think that Tim Walz is absolutely 100% a bad person. And I don't trust him. And I believe that I firmly believe that Tim Walz is a very morally bankrupt person. I believe that. Hey, we got 19 votes on the poll, by the way. So we got 19 votes. Should Tim Walz and Jacob Frey resign? We got 63% say yes, 37% say no. Please tap the subscribe button if you can. The more subscribers we get, the better. We're really trying to grow on YouTube to the maximum extent, so the more subscribers we have, the better it gets. Give me just a few moments. I love Tim Walz. No, I don't. Tim Walz is such a piece of... a guy, man.
With an attack on our state with false videos and things like that, false claims of folks who decided that they...
False claims, dude? Come on, man. You know, by the way, you know those claims were very, very real. You know that they were exposing real fraud. And by the way, it was a concerned Minnesotan who was tired of seeing the fraud occur in his own state, who basically gave the data to Nick Shirley. And there's a lot of people in your state who are tired of the fact that you allowed this much fraud, and that's why a lot of people in your state were calling for your direct resignation. And they still are, by the way. There's still people calling for Tim Walz to resign at a massive scale. And they should. Yeah, he's a lightning rod because he's a swarmy bastard, and he's a real piece of work.
Saw a political end with people stealing from the state, have done nothing to help fix it, even though we have fixed most of it. And
you have not fixed anything. What have you fixed, Tim Walz, you delusional man? What have you fixed?
They brought them here. So there's some people that are responsible for these folks being here based on lies. So I got to tell you, it's going to be a tough legislative session because I've got no time for this lack of humanity. I've got no time for this weird
lack of humanity. Oh, you've got plenty of time to allow fraud, though.
Posturing they're doing, and now all of them better find a new...
It makes me wonder what Tim Walz even does on a day-to-day basis. I feel like most of his time is spent posturing and going on interviews and acting like the victim. Tim Walz, you are not the victim here. You basically have turned your entire state into a victim state. You have. It's crazy.
Position because even Donald Trump's saying this wasn't that good. So,
yeah, Tim Walz turned an absolute blind eye to actual fraud. And if you guys can't see that, Tim Walz is a shyster, I don't know what to tell you. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Still 3,000 of them or more here.
There better be less than that, is all I've got to say. And I will tell you that I will be talking with Tom Homan soon.
No, in fact, you know what? I think there needs to be more ICE agents in Minnesota because Minnesota has proven itself. The people of Minnesota and the government of Minnesota have proven to be highly resistant, and I think there needs to be more ICE agents in Minnesota, if we're going to be quite honest. There needs to be more ICE agents in Minnesota.
Very clear on this. Get these folks out of here. Let's have a fair investigation into this. And President Trump came out last night and said he's going to supervise this.
More
That's
ICE.
The last thing
More
we
ICE.
want. Donald
ICE,
Trump,
baby.
the
Let's
President
go.
of the United States does not supervise the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice and the FBI certainly do not cut the state out on this. So I just want
whatever Tim Walz believes, I just believe the opposite because he allowed so much fraud in his state, basically, and I don't trust him. Allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly, but I don't trust Tim Walz. I think that he's fake. Everything about him feels fake. I don't trust him, and I think I'm in the right on this one to not trust him. I don't know why anybody would trust this guy. I don't get it.
You know, if they're out there and they get a chance to listen to this, all those ICE agents who were there on the ground that day, you will be held accountable here in Minnesota. That is inevitable. They're trying to hide you now, but that's not going to last.
Texas was feeling unwelcome.
Yeah, but they're revealing more and more. Look, Alex Preddy's death, it was a murder. Absolutely 100%. Alex Preddy was murdered. And am I frustrated by that? Sure. Without a doubt. But let's just keep going, man.
Bondi announced today 16 arrests of people for rioting. And like I said, there's still 3,000.
Yeah, it's because people are rioting. People are absolutely rioting in the streets. A lot of these people should have been arrested a long time ago. And they weren't. They should have been, but they weren't. I think we're all just we have Minnesota fatigue at a massive scale. And can you blame us? Can you blame people for having Minnesota fatigue? The more I see of Tim Walz, the less I want to give a shit about Minnesota, to be honest. Okay, hold on. I love Tim Walz. I really do. I love Tim Walz. It's true. Okay, let's see. Another 10x penny stock. I'm just basically. It's funny. I'm making an entire penny stock index based on recommendations from ChatGPT. It's kind of fun. And, I'm not like putting everything down on it, but I'm buying like 2 or 3 shares depending on the price point of each one. I'm buying basically $5 worth of different penny stocks just to see what the result ends up being. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I enjoy it. Is it risky? Sure. But you know what? I mean, if you're creating an index based on what GPT is saying, chances are GPT's probably, GPT, even if GPT's wrong on like 70 or 80% of the penny stock picks, it doesn't really matter. Because if it's right on 20% of them and these ones blossom, it won't even matter. But it is fun to create an entire index based on recommendations from GPT. HubSpot? Oh, Hub C. Okay. Hub C. Hub Cybersecurity. Let's see. That one might be promising. Okay, so let's take a look at the poll real quick. So 22 votes. Should Tim Walz and Jacob Frey resign? 68% of you say yes. 32% of you say no. We'll keep that as a good poll. Let's keep watching.
Yeah. We saw Gravino's left, but there's no evidence I've seen that
There's no change in that. There's change in tone because, look, I would have liked to believe that there was a change in tone because they were horrified like most normal human beings would have been when they saw Alex's murder and should have been with Renee's. But they're changing tone because it looks bad for them and their polling's bad. So I'm under no illusion. If Bovino's out of here, but who's...
Dude, by the way, the only reason you fanned the flames, the reason that you wanted the woke Minnesotans to go after ICE was because it would actually divert the attention from the fraud that was happening in your state. And you knew it would. You are fanning the flames. I think by the way, Tim Walz, I think you're a despicable human being, and I think you need to resign. I really believe wholeheartedly that Tim Walz should definitely resign. Terrible.
The next one up. And I have to assume right now, because they won't tell me who these people are, and I would tell Minnesotans just to be very, very careful out there because I don't know if the people who killed Alex aren't on our streets right now out here. I don't know. They don't coordinate with us. They don't trust with that. Now,
well, the reason that ICE doesn't coordinate with you is because you guys have proven yourselves to be extremely untrustworthy. So even communicating what ICE is doing to you guys is actually a liability. Because they know that you guys are compromised in the Minnesota government. You guys basically will leak information about where ICE is at. So Tim Walz, the reason that the ICE agencies don't work with you is because you yourself have proven to be an untrustworthy person.
Tom Homan came here to try and change the tone, and I said I will give an opportunity here for him to try and do that. We're going to see. We're going to see over the next maybe day or so if they actually drew down, if they're actually honoring what they said they do.
But if you guys can, please tap the subscribe button. If you can, tap the like button. The more likes we get, the better. The more subscribers we get, the better. So tapping the like button really helps push us out on the algorithm, things like that. So subscribing, liking, it really does go a long way. So I appreciate any efforts you guys can make. Appreciate y'all.
If there's movements around us being involved in these prosecutions.
Would state cooperation beyond just DOC cooperating with ICE detainers look like to you? What would a targeted operation with fewer folks from ICE or
It's what we do every day. You heard Chief O'Hara talk about this, whether it's any type of crime. This is supposedly about keeping people safe. We all know that statistically, naturally born Americans here commit crimes at a far greater rate than immigrants. So if it's really about that, we know what.
Well, here's the thing, though. I have a little bit of a doubt that a lot of these, and we're not talking about regular immigrants, Tim Walz. We're talking about the illegal immigrants, and I don't think a lot of those crimes get fully reported when there's illegal immigrant crime. So I doubt that what you're saying is true. And also, by the way, if you turn a blind eye to fraud and crime consistently, of course, especially to an illegal immigrant community, of course the stats are going to be down. Of course the stats are going to be down because you are soft on crime. You turn a blind eye to fraud. So stop it, dude. Stop it. You're not fooling anybody. We want you to resign. Period. End of story. We're calling for your resignation. We're calling for it now. Let's go. I'm done. I'm done with Tim Walz. I can't stand even looking at this dude. Oh, Tom Homan.
Just you.
Tom Homan. See what's going on with him, man.
All acknowledge that we do have federal immigration laws in this country that have been passed.
We absolutely do. We absolutely do.
Congress.
Preach.
ICE is, in fact, a legitimate law enforcement agency charged with enforcing those laws. We're not making this up, folks. ICE is enforcing laws enacted by Congress. They're a federal statute. That said, I'm not here because the federal government has carried this mission out perfectly. First thing I said to senior staff when I walked in here is what I told you earlier. I didn't come here looking for photo ops or headlines. I come here looking for solutions. I do not want to hear that everything's been done here has been perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, and anything can be improved on. And what we've been working on is making this operation safer, more efficient, by the book. The mission is going to improve because of the changes we're making internally. No agency or organization is perfect. And President Trump and I, along with others in the administration, have recognized that certain improvements could and should be made. That's exactly what I'm doing here. As such, in meetings I've had with federal law enforcement managers, including ICE and CBP and other federal partners, as well as state and local officials, I have conveyed the President's expectations with regard to federal immigration enforcement efforts. We will conduct targeted enforcement operations.
Good. Here's the thing, man. There is a rot in Minnesota. They are basically a sanctuary state, whether they like to admit it or not. They are soft on crime. Minnesota's soft on crime, and I'm glad that Tom Homan's there. I really do. Tom, sorry.
Targeted. What we've done for decades. When we hit the streets, we know exactly who we're looking for. Good idea where we may find them. You have a criminal history, you have their immigration history, a lot of information about this person that we get from numerous databases out there. Targeted, strategic enforcement operations. That's traditionally been the case, and that's where we're going. That's what we're going to continue to do and improve upon that. With a prioritization on public safety threats. I want to be clear. I don't read a lot of social media. I don't read a lot of media. I don't believe half what I see. We are not surrendering to.
And he's smart, man. I think staying off social media is a damn good thing, because here's the thing: a lot of stuff on social is usually bullshit. That's what I believe, and yeah. This is crazy, man. Okay, anyway, let's keep watching.
President's mission in immigration enforcement. Let's make that clear. Prioritization of criminal aliens doesn't mean that we forget about everybody else. That's just simply ridiculous. But when you have a criminal standing here and a non-criminal standing there, that criminal always should be targeted first because he's a significant concern to the safety and security of the community. By at large for decades, ICE and CBP have carried out their duties with integrity, professionalism, and compassion. That remains the expectation under President Trump, and I will hold our agents and officers to that standard. I'm almost done, then Tom can be Tom. As far as the agitators, that said, I want to reiterate and make very clear.
To the Walz Police Department.
I want to make it.
So I love how Dolphin Tactic is saying, I'm reporting this channel to the Walz Police Department. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yeah, Tim Walz doesn't believe in police. Yeah. The only police department that Walz controls is the LGBTQ police, and they're not doing anything.
Be clear. ICE and CBP officers are performing their duties in a challenging environment under tremendous circumstances, but they're trying to do it with professionalism.
Welcome to the next generation of website creation. Wix.
You guys, if you can, please don't forget to tap the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. The more subscribers we get, the better. It does help the channel grow in many, many ways. So please help us out. Simply the simple act of tapping the subscribe button really goes a long way. Just being a subscriber to the channel. I don't want you guys to miss out on the next stream. You know, we typically tend to call out the crazy left, the lunatic left, and that's what this stream's about. This is what we do, and we have a good time doing it. So let's keep calling out the left, and let's keep calling out the lunatic left. Let's go.
They'll be dealt with. Like any other federal agency, we have standards of conduct. They are sworn law enforcement officers working tirelessly to enforce our country's border security, immigration laws, protecting the interests of our country, and preventing dangerous people from walking the streets of this nation when they're not supposed to be here to begin with. Men and women of ICE, I was a Border Patrol agent. I was an ICE agent. I was the first ICE director that came up through the ranks. I spent over 40 years doing this. These men and women that carry that badge and gun are American patriots. They put themselves on the line for this nation every day. But I want you to remember, they don't hang their badge, they don't hang their heart on a hook every day they come to work. They're mothers and fathers too. They're sons and daughters too. And if they've seen a fraction of the tragedies I've seen in my career, they take a lot of damage home to every day. The things they've seen, especially on the border with Border Patrol agents. People drowning in the river, women being raped by criminal cartels, giving CPR to a baby that was thrown in the river by the cartels because Border Patrol came too close. So let's throw the baby in the river. That way the Border Patrol was concentrating on that so I can get away. These men and women see some terrible things. But I want you to remember, they're mothers and fathers too. Many of them are members of this community. God bless every one of them. The hostile rhetoric and dangerous threats and hate must...
Damn, dude, I can't even imagine what it would be like being a Border Patrol agent, man. That would be... Seeing some of the horrors, uncovering some of those horrors would just be too much, man, in my opinion. I think that'd be just too tough. Shit. Oh, there's a new video out, by the way.
Again, I appreciate...
Alex Preddy. Let's see. Yep, new video shows previous clash between Preddy and federal officers. Let's take a look at this.
man shot and killed by federal agents over the weekend. But this video is from...
Look, the thing about Alex Preddy is what happened to him is terrible, but not going to lie. This guy was not the saint that you guys keep pretending he is.
Another encounter that was more than a week before he was gunned down. The video was first posted by the News Movement and appears to show Preddy, here in the brown jacket and hat, kicking out the taillight of an SUV. Agents then get out of their car and tackle him to the ground. The encounter lasts
As they should. As they should. I mean, Alex Preddy, this guy seems like a total POS, in my opinion.
Few seconds before Preddy is let go. At one point, a gun is seen in his waistband, but it's unclear if agents saw it. Agents then deploy tear gas and walk away. In another video, we hear from Preddy moments after agents leave.
You okay? You okay? Okay. You okay? I'm okay. I'm okay. Are we all okay? Are we all safe? We okay?
So the Department of Homeland Security says it is reviewing this footage. President Trump hasn't commented on it publicly, but he has been reposting the commentary from social media.
Of course, and by the way, Alex Preddy is not the only piece of garbage. There's several pieces of garbage that are on the streets harassing ICE agents. Several.
So, for example, comments like this from his supporters, which say that Preddy, quote, such a peaceful protester, and he was a domestic terrorist. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, said he hadn't seen the new video during CNN's town hall, but he also says it doesn't matter.
Are we actually making the argument that Alex Preddy should be killed for something that happened like 11 days prior to the shooting itself?
And no, he shouldn't have been killed, but it reveals that he wasn't a saint. That you guys keep acting like he was some sort of saint, and that he wasn't an agitator and he wasn't a vandal. Like, you guys keep acting like this guy was like Jesus. You guys keep acting like Alex Preddy's Jesus. He's not. We're trying to show you that he was kind of a piece of you-know-what, and yeah, he wasn't exactly a good person either. Now, did he deserve to get murdered? No. But we do want to reveal that the guy that you guys keep acting like is Jesus that this guy is not necessarily a good person, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I think.
Yeah, it shows he was attacking police. Yeah, sure, it absolutely was.
We should be talking about the circumstances that
this dude, this Alex Preddy guy, has been nothing but trouble, to be honest. And in a lot of ways, he put himself and others at risk.
Actually led to the killing and what took place.
Yeah, and I'm just tired of hearing that Alex Preddy was a peaceful protester. No, he was a rioter. Let's just be honest. Alex Preddy was a rioter, and he was murdered in cold blood. Those two things are true. Two things can be true, as I always say. His murder was unjustified, and the federal agent who shot him should go to jail, right? But also, Alex Preddy was a no-good rioter, and that needs to be addressed, okay? He was a no-good rioter.
Those circumstances, I mean, you can believe your own two eyes.
Joining me now in the group chat, Zolan Kano-Youngs, CNN political analyst and White House correspondent for the New York Times. Doug Heye, Republican strategist and former RNC communications director, and Megan Hayes, former Biden White House director of message planning. Okay, I want to talk to you guys because this video coming out sort of created more fuel for the people who say that Preddy was an agitator, that he was putting himself in harm's way.
He absolutely was an agitator. He was a rioter, and yeah, he did put himself in harm's way several times. So the sad part was this was kind of an inevitability. This guy thought he was Batman. In all reality, he was just a piece of you-know-what. Anyway, hold on. I do need to take a quick piss, so I'll be all right. BRB. Taking a quick piss. All right, we're going to react to the rest of this.
Way. Can I come to you, Doug, just for the messaging? Because the White House is, as we've sort of struggled the last couple of days. What do you think they're going to be doing with this video, and how, does it change things?
In some ways it does. It is agitating, and it is putting yourself in harm's way. And ultimately, that shouldn't matter for what happens 11 days earlier, but everything in our discourse is so weaponized, has been for a long time. So I think if we go back to the Rodney King beating, after that, we heard, well, Rodney King did this, and it turned out 6 months later, Rodney King did that. None of that had any real relevance to the actions that police did on a highway in law.
True, but I think it does need to be revealed. I think it needs to be revealed the kind of person that Preddy actually was, and not the kind of person that the media wants you to see him as.
Los Angeles, but in our political discourse, we know this is going to be used. We know it's going to be weaponized. And as we talk about de-escalation, I would hope that everybody can de-escalate a little bit. Everybody can exhale.
We're going to keep talking about that.
That's part of the situation as well.
Exactly. Tom Homan's going to speak today. We're going to talk about that separately. I want to play this clip of Steve Bannon on Wednesday, just because he's the kind of person who is very loud from the sidelines, right through the war room, in trying to tell the White House, look, this is what you should be doing at any given time. And here was his take on this moment.
We have to hold the line. There can be no de-escalation at all. You don't need to bring down the temperature. Raise the temperature. Put them under pressure.
Hell yeah, dude. Absolutely. Go Steve Bannon, dude.
They're the ones that are cracking.
Are you guys cracking?
No, I mean, I think that that's inflammatory and disgusting, and I don't know what his reasoning is for saying that. It might be because he wants Kristi Noem out, and if they keep raising the temperature, she'll...
No, here's the thing, man. I'm on Steve Bannon's side. You know, if Tim Walz is going to raise the temperature, I think Trump needs to raise the temperature just as high.
Inevitably say something stupid again and maybe lose her job this time. But I do think that what he did 11 days prior to being killed doesn't change the fact that he was still murdered. If you want to surface...
Oh, yeah, and we're not, by the way, I'm not justifying his murder. We're trying to reveal, because we're tired of the left basically saying that this guy, we're just tired of the left acting like this guy was a saint when he wasn't. That's all. We're just trying to say, hey, this guy wasn't a saint. He didn't deserve to die, by the way. He was murdered. Okay?
That video and he's still alive and charge him with something retroactively, that would be a different conversation, but you can't do that because the man is no longer living. So I just think it's kind of a silly conversation to have. It just shows, again, how long this has been going on and how people are just so enraged, and it just keeps going. And so this is what's going to continue to happen. You're going to have people continue to go to the streets over and over and over again, but something that happened 2 weeks prior should tell us that this has been going on too long.
And it also doesn't explain why the administration officials said that he was brandishing a gun in the moments before he was shot as well, right? There's core questions as far as this shooting. Why did you say he was brandishing a gun? You were so quick to also use the term domestic terrorism as well, assassin. A video 11 days prior doesn't answer those questions, nor does it provide clarity on why the administration in the investigation they're doing is not examining criminal wrongdoing for these agents as well. It's
especially because there you have an example of ICE agents not circling someone and ending up shooting them, right? Like, arguably, you see him taking an action and you don't see them reacting the way we saw in the moment to his death.
Republicans are spooked. Two examples I'll give you. One, I got an email 2 days ago from a very conservative, very senior Republican member of Congress who said, "What should I say?" This is somebody who is a very big Trump ally, usually knows what to say. I reached out to one of the party committees yesterday and said, "What are you telling your candidates?" Point one, message of unity / calm / order. That's de-escalation. That's not raise the temperature.
One more thing I have to show you then. We had a CNN town hall in Minnesota. People got to ask questions. There was a Republican lawmaker there, State Senator Michael Holmstrom, and he was trying to talk about the way the president has handled this moment. I want you to hear not just what he says, but how the crowd reacts after.
President Trump met with these leaders, and he came out and he said great things about them. If you read his post, he was very complimentary, and it was repudiated with more insults from the leaders here in Minnesota. The olive branch is constantly extended, and it's swatted away because of anger and resentment.
Anger and resentment. Well, hold on. Yeah, first off, I just want to be very clear. Yeah, because here's the problem, is that most of the Minnesotans are woke as shit. I really do believe that wokeism is a major problem here, and the more woke you are, the worse it is. I think there's just too much woke going on, dude. Give me just a moment, you guys. Sorry. I'm trying to fix something here. But yeah, I think that that's just what's happening in, like I said, what's happening in Minnesota is just, it's crazy. It's turning into a crazy place. And yeah.
As we speak. Laughter.
I mean, I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem that Republicans are going to face going into the midterms is what they...
No, I mean, people, by the way, that was a Minnesota town hall. You do realize that everybody in Minneapolis is pretty much a woke POS, right? It's a woke NPC. Come on, people. Come on, people. You know it. I know it. The American people know it. Anyway, you guys, I am going to take a little bit of a break from streaming just for a bit. I'm going to take out the trash, go for a walk, collect myself. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, though. The more subscribers we get, the better. It does help the channel grow in more ways than one. So we're really trying to increase the subscriber count as best as we can. But I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel, for liking the stream. I really appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes. Thank you guys for just being you. I appreciate you all. But I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be streaming a little bit later. We'll see. I'll see what the topic is going to be about with the streaming, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break.